Hey everybody, this is Alzorath, and welcome to the first episode of Friday Night Hex. Originally, I was going to just do a discussion over the topic of bread and drafting, and a few other things to deal with drafting, and talk about a few of the cards. But instead, I decided to go ahead and go all out for the opening of this, and launch it with, as you can tell from the title, a contest. Now, there's probably two questions floating around in your head in regard to this. What are the prizes, and how can I win them? Now, this contest is going to be based around what is easily one of my favorite formats in trading card games, and one that a lot of people either don't get to enjoy, and honestly, it's one that I haven't gotten to do in a very long time, and that I'm really looking forward to doing in Hex, and that is the limited draft format, where you break open boosters and send them around, and you pick your cards. Now, this particular contest is based around the first pick, that first booster pack you crack open and that first card you take. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just get the prizes out of the way, and then we're going to explain what the contest is. The prize is 3 slacker backers. 3 different people are going to win these, so don't think it's just going to be one person getting all of them. Now, 2 of the slacker backers are provided by myself, and the third is kindly donated by Clan Blackblade, which I am a member of. And I approached them, and they said they would be glad to add to it. Now, what is a slacker backer, you might ask? Well, it gets you an invite to the Hex Alpha and Beta, and it gets you a bonus starter deck whenever the game goes out, 25 extra booster packs, and 2 months of VIP access. And since you're winning them from this, they're all absolutely free. Now, you may be wondering, how can I win these? Well, first off, I'm going to crack open a pack. I'm going to display it. I've altered the pack slightly from the little random generator because I didn't want any extremely obvious picks in here, but I wanted a few good ones, a few bad ones, something that would let you think about it and discuss it, so there'd be a lot of varying opinions. Now, to win it, you're going to need to do 2 things. First off and foremost, you're going to have to list the card that you would pick first when opening the initial draft. Just pick one of the cards, type its name out as it's displayed on the screen whenever I show the cards in just a little bit. And second, you're going to, within the confines of the YouTube comment that you're replying to this with, you're going to have to explain why you would select this as your first draft. Try and keep it short. Now, these are very important to how you're going to win, because how the winners are picked are based on these things. The first slacker backer that I'm providing will go to a random participant who selects the most popular draft pick. I will just go by which draft pick you selected, throw your names into a pool, and randomly select one out using a random number generator. The second slacker backer, though, will go to the quote-unquote best explanation of your draft pick, but it will only be given to an individual who does not choose the most popular draft pick. So it can be funny, you can be witty and try and choose the least popular and crack a joke and have that be great. Or you can give a very logical, analytical answer and possibly even choose a better card than the most popular one through your analysis, and we might award you that prize for that one. Now, the best is going to be determined by myself and several other individuals that I've chosen, and I want them to remain anonymous so that their opinion can be free of influence. Now, the third slacker backer is going to be provided by Clan Blackblade, and this will be awarded at random to one of the people who did not win. So, if you won one of the first 2, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get another one. But everybody else who entered is going to be entered into a random number generator, and the third winner will be selected. Now, when these winners are selected, I will contact them via YouTube, a private message on YouTube, and they will need to send their email back to me so I can have these prizes forwarded to them, except for the one that is being awarded by Clan Blackblade, which I will pass on to Jinur, which is the leader of Clan Blackblade, and he will be responsible for handling that. Now, you'll have 48 hours to reply with your email. If you do not reply in that time, another winner will be chosen. If I can't choose a winner in time, well, I'm sorry, But there will be 3 winners, and I will have an award video afterwards explaining who won and why. And I have to say right now, while ideally these would be going to someone who doesn't already have Kickstarter rewards or Slacker backer rewards, I do want this contest open to everyone, and I don't really think it's feasible to check if someone's already backed it anyway. But even if you have already backed it, this is still some extra boosters and a few other of the perks in the Slacker backer. So you'd still be winning something, just not as much as someone who didn't back the game already. Now, with all that aside, let's go ahead and break open the pack and see what you guys pick. Now, unlike in my future episodes, I will not be giving my opinions on these cards, but I will rather leave it up to you, the viewers, to discuss their potential or lack thereof. Now, I would encourage everyone to discuss as much as you want in the threads about this, and even in the comments below, feel free to discuss your opinions. But only YouTube comments will count towards the prizes. I'm sorry, but that's just for my sanity's sake. It would drive me insane having to check several forums for all the people's opinions. It has to be on YouTube. That's the only way I'm accepting submissions, and I'll handle the email stuff through private message. Don't post your email in the comments, please. Now, let's crack open the pack. We're going to start with the commons, since that's what most people just throw out of the way whenever they're first opening a booster, unless they're doing a draft, in which case they look at them. Okay, let's start off with the first card. That is going to be Burn. Very well-known card. That is 1 cost with 1 ruby threshold. It is a quick action, meaning it can be played in response to a lot of things, and it deals 2 damage to target champion or troop. Second card is going to be Thunderbird. The 2 cost with a 2 sapphire threshold troop. It's a bird spirit with 1/1. That is flight and rage 1. Rage 1 is when this troop attacks, it gets permanent +1/+0, meaning it makes it more aggressive each and every time. And even if it goes to your graveyard or hand, it will always have that +1/+0 whenever you bring it back out. Number 3 is going to be Terrible Transfer. A 5 cost card, meaning it's a little bit expensive, with only 1 blood threshold, and it is a quick action, just like Burn, that deals 1 damage to target troop for each blood resource you control. And you gain 1 health for each damage dealt this way, which is pretty good. It's a leech spell. Number 4, you have Sensei of the Milky Eye, which is a 2 cost wild troop with 1 wild threshold being his limiting factor. He's a Shinhair Sensei who's a 1/1, and when he enters play, you draw a card. Might be a nice little double effect there. Number 5, you have Inner Conflict. It's a 2 cost, 1 diamond threshold card that is a basic action, meaning it can only be played on your turn. Target troop gets a permanent this troop can't attack or block, which is a very nice soft removal if you think about it. Number 6 is Command Tower. 3 cost, 0 threshold because it's an artifact, meaning it doesn't play with anybody's alignments. Troops you control get +1/+0. That makes them a little bit more aggressive, and it's permanent while it's in play, so those creatures in play are a whole lot more threatening whenever you have a Command Tower out. Number 7, Wild Growth. 1 cost, 1 wild threshold. It's a quick action and may look very familiar to Magic the Gathering players because target troop gets +4/+4 this turn. Makes them a bit beefy for just a nice little cantrip. Number 8, you have Death Dealer, which is your 3 cost, 1 blood threshold troop, which is an Orc Rogue that's a 3/2, which is not a small troop, but it has no special abilities. Can it fit into your deck? Number 9, you have Nuts and Bolts, which is a 5 cost, 2 sapphire threshold, basic action, again, only on your turn, that creates a Warbot and a Worker Bot and puts them into play. Warbot is an artifact troop. It's a robot. And it's a 3/3. It's a nice troop. Not necessarily worth the 5 cost, but it's good on its own. Now, Worker Bot is an artifact troop that is a 1/1 and has the defensive ability, which means it can't attack, but it's one heck of a chump blocker. So, number 10, I'm going to mispronounce like nobody's business, and that's the Adamanthian Scrivener. Had to slow down on that one. It's 1 cost with 1 diamond threshold troop. It's a human cleric that's a 1/1, and when a troop enters play under your control, gain 1 health. Might be worth it in a life gain deck, but do you really need it? Maybe if you're playing a diamond deck. And finally, number 11 on the commons is going to be Blood Aura, which is your 2 cost, which has 1 blood threshold. It's a basic action that says target troop gets permanent +1/+1, and this troop cannot be blocked except by artifact troops and or blood troops, which might get you around some pretty nasty things. Now, let's step on up and look at the uncommons. First off, you have Blood Thrall. 3 cost, 2 blood threshold. It's a basic action, and when a troop you control deals damage to an opposing champion this turn, that champion chooses and discards a card. Good for getting those reserved cards out of your opponent's hand if you can get that hit in. Now, secondly is GoreSeeker, which is 5 cost, 2 of it being a ruby threshold. It's an Orc Warrior that's a 2/2, has Swiftstrike, meaning it strikes first. Some of you who play Magic might know this as First Strike. And it has Rage 1, that when this troop attacks, it gets a permanent +1/+0. Again, even if it goes to your graveyard or your hand, it keeps that +1/+0 whenever you bring it back into play, meaning people can't just bounce it to get rid of its power. Number 3 is the Fate Rack. It's a 3 cost artifact, meaning no thresholds on it. Whenever you bring it into play, it does nothing, but whenever you use 1 resource and exhaust this card, target champion buries the top 2 cards of their deck. Really nasty mill there if you can pull it off, although might not get through as fast as you think. Maybe it's not as good of a pick as some might say. And finally, let's look at the rare field of the booster pack. One thing that a lot of people might be hunting during the drafts, especially if they're drafting for money, to continue drafting in the future, and that is Pact of Pain. It's a rare. It's 2 cost with 2 blood threshold. That is a constant, and all you have to do is pay 2 resources and pay 2 health and draw a card. This is a good way to dig, although you're going to be paying that health, and you might not want to do that in a draft situation. You never know. Now, don't forget to enter this. That's all the cards, by the way. Don't forget that to enter this contest, you need to do the 2 things that I listed at the beginning. You need to list the card that you would pick first, and you need to write the explanation, and it needs to be here on YouTube to be counted. And what's at stake? 3 slacker backers, 1 to each winner. And yeah, that is the first episode of Friday Night Hex. That is the first draft contest. And I hope you guys enjoy participating, and I hope to see a whole bunch of names down there, and I hope to see some really deserving people win the prizes. And yeah, this has been Alzorath. I will see you next time, so keep gaming, have fun, peace out, and I'll see you guys in Hex this fall. Bye.